working okay. It sounds like it's working fine, and we're doing okay. So, again, this is Aaron Rice, eXp Realty, Monday, October 12th. Some people call it Columbus Day. Some people call it Indigenous Peoples Day. I prefer to go with the latter. But yeah, we're here. So, we're talking about what's in my camera bag. So, super excited about today's presentation. And why don't we go ahead and get right into it? Why don't we go ahead and get right into it? I know Monday Night Football is coming up. I don't even know who's playing tonight. Didn't get a chance to check. But I know the Ravens won yesterday. So that's really all that matters for the week. But yeah, why don't we go ahead and get into it? And we got a different couple of different camera angles. So we got the, and the camera angles are not doing what they're supposed to do today. Okay, so, see what I mean? See what I mean? Let's try this. Let's get into the presentation here and see if we, okay, there we go. There we got our above camera angle. You can see my hand waving there. All right, so today we're talking about what's in my camera bag, folks. What's in my camera bag? The top 10 tools needed to professionally market a new property listing. Top 10 tools needed to professionally market a new property listing. And again, these are what I call my tools of the trade. Tools of the trade, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and share with you what I use on a daily basis. But before we do that, just a little bit of information about me. For those of you that don't know, and have never met me, again, my name is Aaron Rice. Been in the real estate industry for about 20 plus years. Acquired pretty much every residential real estate designation that I could possibly try to acquire over the years. Super committed to the industry, super committed to giving high levels of customer service. And this is my why, right? This is why I do what I do. This is my beautiful family. My lovely wife, Jamila. Her birthday is tomorrow. Big 50. Big up to Jamila. Big happy 50th birthday to you. That's right. So I will be taking off tomorrow. And my handsome son, Joaquin, is there in the middle, rising freshman up at Towson University. Big shouts out to him. And then my beautiful daughter, Valissa, who is up in Syracuse, New York. I spoke to my father yesterday up in Syracuse. He says it's not snowing. So that's interesting. It's normally snowing about this time of year, but that's my beautiful daughter, Valissa. She is a real estate agent with Better Homes and Gardens up in the Cuse. So big shouts out to her. And my handsome, handsome grandson, Zion. He's up in Syracuse. He's doing his thing into robotics and drones and all those types of things. So big shouts out to the family. This is why I do what I do, to be a better husband, better father, and better grandfather. Better to be an all-around nice guy. All right, so Tool number one. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show you the camera that I'm using because I'm actually filming on the camera, right? So I'm not able to show it to you. But I do have some of the lenses, and I'm actually using the Sony A6500. And see, if I was a smart presenter, I would actually have Amazon links or B&H links, affiliate links, so that people could go in and see what I use and then go ahead and buy it, and I'd get a couple of pennies to support the channel. Unfortunately, I'm not that. I don't have my act together, so there's no affiliate links. You'll just have to kind of Google either Amazon or B&H Photo. B&H is where I probably got 90% of my gear, but between the two, you're not going to have any problems finding the gear. Okay, so between Amazon and B&H Photo, so. The camera that I use is the Sony A6500. They're actually not making the 6500 anymore. The A6600 has taken its place. So I'm looking to add a second camera. And between the lens and the camera body itself is what's called a Sigma MC11 Mary Charlie MC11 adapter. And that's the way that I can use my Canon mount lens with my Sony E-mount camera, right? I need an adapter to adapt the two, and that's that little thing that you see right butted up between the lens and that Sony signal, or the Sony badge, is a MC11 adapter, all right? And that's the Sigma A6500 with the Sony A6500 with a Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter 1.8 lens. One of my favorite lenses, one of the first lenses I got, actually, a very, very popular lens. Highly recommend it. I use this when I'm doing my real estate shoots. I generally use this for outdoors, for exterior shots, and I'll show you kind of what types of photos this lens takes. So I took this this picture in Bowie, Maryland, about a year and a half ago. Um, and it takes beautiful, beautiful exterior shots. And I use that lens for all of my exteriors. I use them for if I'm doing event photo shoots or parties or something like that where I need to get kind of a wide angle. I'll use that. So it's it's kind of my go-to lens. It pretty much stays on my camera. Hence, that's why you can't see it because it's on my camera right this second. But that's my favorite lens, the Sigma 18 to 35, 1.8 millimeter. Get really good shallow depths of field, but I think my f-stop for this particular photo was probably between an f8 and f11. And so because I wanted everything to be in focus, so that's kind of how I got that image there. All right, so so the next lens I actually have here with me. This is the, let's see if I can move the mic a little bit. Let's see if you can see it. All right, so this is actually the Sigma. This is the 50 to 100 millimeter Sigma lens. Let me show you that glass on the front. Look at that glass element on the front. This is a beautiful, beautiful lens. I love this lens. It's a bit heavy, probably weighs maybe close to a pound, a little bit more. But it's a nice, heavy, solid lens. One thing I will tell you is that I use all Sigma glass on my camera. I always keep it in autofocus. So this little autofocus thing is always clicked. I don't do much manual focus. I don't know how to shoot manual focus. I mean, I guess I could learn, but the Sony cameras are so good at autofocus that I don't need to use autofocus. I just use, or I don't need to use manual focus. I use autofocus, excuse me. So this is the Sigma 50 to 100 millimeter f1.8, and that's definitely something that I do not leave home. I don't leave home without that one. That's a very nice lens, solid lens. I've had it for a couple of years. Really is a all around great lens. Great for portraits. So I use it for a lot of portrait shoots, and great for if I'm looking to try to get some detail within the property listing. Sometimes you can get nice wide shots, and sometimes you want to get more detailed images. And so I use this for my detailed images, depending on the home. And I'll show you a picture that I took with this lens at a property in Alexandria, Virginia. This is Kira Elvey's listing. And I wanted to get, these are two kind of lounge chairs on the exterior of the home. And there were two places on the exterior of the home where you kind of sit down and relax and maybe grab a cup of coffee in the morning. And so I really wanted to catch the detail, get a little shallow depth of field, get a little bokeh in the background. So I think I shot that right at 1.8. And so that's when I use that lens, is when I want to catch some detail in the photos at the home. Okay, so a little bit too long of a lens to shoot inside the home for interiors, but sometimes if I'm trying to catch like a Viking stove, or I'm trying to catch a badge of a particular appliance, then I might use it indoors, but mostly I use it outdoors. But never leave home without this lens. Beautiful, beautiful lens. The Sigma 50 to 100 millimeter. Love this bad boy. All right, so let's talk about my next lens. The next lens that I use with my Sony A6500 is the, oh, here it is. Let's see, let me make sure I'm grabbing the right one. Yep, this is my 10 to 20 millimeter, 10 to 20 millimeter 3.5, right? So this gives me my really, really wide shots, really wide shots. You can see that element, right? It's a little dust. I need to clean off my lens a little bit. But this gives me really nice wide shots, right? I generally am in anywhere in between 10 and 12 on the interior of the home. This gives you those really, really nice wide shots of the property. And that's where we can kind of capture everything in the living room, kitchen area. And we're really looking for those really wide shots to really make the home kind of stand out. And again, I'm shooting anywhere between f8 and maybe f11. All right. But it does start at 3.5. So I don't really do much video with this because it's not a very fast lens. It's not the autofocus isn't terribly fast. And with the 3.5, I really want to get down to something maybe a 1.8, 2.8, or lower, so that I can get that shallow depth of field, which this lens unfortunately won't give me. But this is my go-to when I'm doing my interiors. This stays on the camera when I'm doing my interior shots. This is the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter 3.5, and again, if I was a smart person, I would have given you affiliate links where you could easily go and support the channel and all that type of stuff. But you can go to B&H Photo, B&H. That's the letter B, the and H, B and H. They're up in Manhattan. If you ever get a chance to go to their store, it's awesome store. B&H has it's like, oh my gosh, so much gear, especially if you're a gearhead like me. So this is the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter. I think I got a picture of kind of what that looks like. So this is the lens that's taken these interior shots. And as you can see with my photos, I really love making sure that you can see right through the windows, right? Almost like they're open. And that's a special type of photography that we do. It's called high dynamic range images. So every picture that you see of mine, for any properties that we market, there are really 6 photos that make up one. 6 photos that make up one, and we start with the lowest light, maybe like an E5, E -5, -3, -1, 0, +1, +3, right? And then we merge them in post to create these high dynamic range images where you can really see the exterior and see out the windows, and the windows aren't blown out. And I really love that about the images that we deliver to our clients, whether the sellers hired us individually, or another agent has hired us to come out and do the photos for them, or a builder developers hired us. We really take a lot of pride in the photos, and it takes a little bit longer to do the photos. We don't use any smartphone photos, right? We use professional gear, so pretty important. All right, so let's talk about another piece of gear. This is my white balance disc, right? This is what this looks like. Comes on a little string here that I can put around my neck, and I won't lose it. But this is how I get my white balance. White balance is very important when you're doing a photo shoot, especially in some of the homes where the lights are a little bit different throughout the home. Some of them are fluorescent lights, some of them are tungsten lights, and especially maybe in the bathroom area. In the bathroom areas where it might be a little warm with some of the bathroom lights. So that goes right on the front of the lens, just like that. And then I go ahead and take my shot and my custom image, and that way I can get my proper white balance, right? So if I go back to that last picture, that's why everything that's white is supposed to look white. The casings around the windows, those are all nice and white, right? Got to get your colors right. So I use that for my white balance, and really easy. Just takes 2 seconds, snaps right on. Take my shot, and I do this every time I switch an angle in the property. So I might be, at one angle with the windows behind me, and another angle with the windows in front of me. And so I just kind of snap that on, and I'm able to get my shots and get my white balance. Okay, so that's the white balance Expo disc. You can get this at B&H or Amazon. All right. Very handy piece of gear. All right, so that's tool number 2. Tool number 3 is the Matterport camera. And this camera I acquired about 5 years ago. Was pretty expensive. Pretty expensive camera. Comes in a Pelican case, right? I am not trying to damage this bad boy at all. But yeah, this is the Matterport camera. This is the original Matterport camera. And this is how I take my immersive 3D virtual reality tours. Let me see if I can switch the camera angle a little bit. Yep, there we go. So this will give you a better idea what it looks like. Goes right on the tripod, and it does like a 360 spin. Takes about like 60 seconds to do a spin, and that's how it captures one particular space. Whoa, sorry about that. That's how it captures one particular space. Pretty heavy camera, maybe 3 or 4 pounds, maybe close to 5 pounds. But I've had the exact same camera for, like I said, going on 5 years, and fires up every time. Has not given me any problems. When I bought it, it was about $5,000. I think you can get them for about $3,000 now. But there is a monthly, cloud account that you need to have in order to store your virtual reality tours. And the great thing about this camera as well is when we go out to the property, we're actually able to do the scan. It probably takes me about 3 hours to do one property, and I guess that's your average. Well, not average, but probably a 5,000 square foot home. Will probably take me about 3 hours to do. And the great thing about it is we're actually able to turn around content same day to the client. So I think that's what I like the most about this camera is we can actually turn around content same day, whether we're dealing with, real estate, residential, commercial properties, or even, some museums. We're dealing with artists, museums, and also dealing with some local colleges as well. So kind of branching out outside of real estate, but love this camera. Well worth the investment. And this is how we get our immersive 3D virtual tours. And again, once the content is created, it's automatically ready for virtual reality, which, let's see, I'll go ahead and put that right there, which, you've heard me talk about before, is the Oculus, right? The Oculus Quest, right? So we got the controller. Where are my controllers? The controllers, right? And so when we do the Matterport, as soon as it's ready, it's automatically ready to be viewed in the virtual reality headset. So whether somebody, the properties that I market are here in Maryland, but if Maryland, DC, Virginia, DMV, but if somebody's in Chicago, California, China, and they want to tour the property, they can just put on these goggles, and they immerse themselves in the property in kind of a one-to-one ratio. So they really feel like they're in the property. So these virtual reality headsets are something that strongly encourage everyone to have. The prices are dropping. Actually, the Oculus Quest 2 comes out tomorrow, right? Comes out tomorrow. I think those are $299. This one was $399. And so we definitely love this headset. Definitely all in with Oculus for sure. And great way to view the property in virtual reality. So one of the things we're recommending to other realtors as well, builders, developers, is to have a kind of a virtual reality room where prospective buyers can come into your office and tour a property in virtual reality before physically heading out. It's a lot safer to do that, especially with the pandemic. And again, all the stuff that we're using and all the stuff that we're doing with virtual reality, we've been doing way before the pandemic, but definitely something to consider. All right, so that's tool number 3. And then why don't we go ahead and get into tool number 4, and that's the Benro tripod. That's the Benro tripod. So I'm not sure if I could even how I'm going to fit this in here, but this is the tripod that I use. A lot of my gear that I got, I'm a big YouTuber. Thank God for YouTube, right? A lot of it was me comparing this tripod to, let's say, a Manfrotto tripod, right? And the person that I was watching, I'll give you a better view here. The person that I was watching do the comparison, I just like, okay, well, let me try the Benro, right? I think it, and they're not terribly cheap, but this is something, unlike cameras, this is something that'll stay with you for a couple of years, right? So it's worth investing into it. Just like lenses, camera lenses are worth the investment because you rarely change lenses. You just normally change bodies. Same thing with a tripod. You rarely will change the tripod. You'll most likely change the camera and the gear. So the Benro tripod, this is an S4 tripod. Love it. Used it quite often. I used to film all my son's basketball games, all his AAU basketball games. So this is definitely my go-to piece of gear. And it's carbon fiber, so it's really light, or lighter than like an aluminum tripod. So yeah, Benro S4 is the tripod that I use. Benro S4. Okay, so let's see. Tool number 5. Tool number 5 is the DJI, right? The drone. Love this drone, right? This is the Mavic Mini. And let me move this mic a little bit up. So this is the Mavic Mini. This is kind of how it goes. You undo the legs like this, right? And this thing could literally fit in your pocket. Literally fit in your pocket. So it's still got the camera guard on it. And great thing about this drone is you can actually fly it indoors. And so I have flown it indoors in some of the larger commercial properties, not really residential properties. Although I do have the propeller guards to help with that. But this is the DJI Mavic Mini, and had this probably for about 6 months. I had a Mavic Pro. Crashed that one, unfortunately, trying to fly it indoors. But the Mavic Mini is definitely my go-to drone. Love this bad boy right here. And it takes beautiful, beautiful videos. If you've seen some of my videos on my channel, this is the drone that I've been using, and it does a really, really great job. Definitely would highly recommend it, and weighs below 250 grams, so you don't need a license to fly this. But you should definitely get a license, or do some due diligence on getting your pilot's license if you're going to fly one of these things. And then this is the controller. Use it with my iPhone, right? My 11 Max is what I've used for this, and that's pretty much all I use this phone for, is to fly my drone. But this is how I control it. This is the antennas. But Mavic Mini, love this drone, love it. Don't leave home without it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so that's the Mavic Mini. And then let's see, tool number 5 would be the Ronin SC, right? The Ronin SC. And this is my gimbal. I don't really like that camera angle very much, but this is my gimbal. Let's go ahead and change the camera angle a little bit. Yep. So this is the gimbal. This is what I put my Sony a6500 on. And I use a different lens, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, because it's got image stabilization if I want to get a real stable shot. So so this is the Ronin SC. This is a newer edition. I've got another Steadicam that I use that I bought a couple of years ago, but unfortunately the batteries died. They stopped making it, and pretty disappointing. It was called a Came TV. Really loved that one. But the battery died and they stopped making it, and I can't get any more batteries. So I went ahead and got the Ronin SC for my Steadicam. So I'll be using this one for the first time in a residential property coming up on Wednesday. But I've been using this for some commercial shoots and just from some other personal or business related tasks. But the Ronin SC, definitely a good Steadicam to be able to use when you're out videotaping. And I'm kind of what's called a hybrid shooter. I shoot both video and photo and virtual reality and drone. So a lot of different disciplines. Generally when I'm in a property, I'm there for maybe a day and a half, depending on the size of the property. But yeah, a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different things to know, but can make you a very resourceful skill set as well. All right, so this is the newest addition to my camera bag. This is the Sigma 17 to 50 millimeter lens. Let's see if I can get that up there, get that focus right. Look at that big glass there. That's a huge glass. This is the 17 to 50, and it's a 2.8 millimeter. The reason I got this is because it's got image stabilization. So when I'm riding my Segway, I can use my Ronin and Geps for really, really smooth shots, real smooth shots. And let me switch the camera angle so I could show you what I'm talking about. This is what I use when I'm out capturing some video content to ride around, really get really smooth shots. Get some really smooth shots with that. So again, these are just tools, folks. These are the tools of the trade. This is kind of what keeps me in business, what keeps me different from maybe some other alternatives that are out there. Is I'm always looking for the latest, greatest tools to be able to tell the story of a particular property, of a particular scene. And whether I'm taking high school photos or taking shots of real estate, it's all about telling a story, right? And so I want to have the best tools to be able to do that, and that's what this does. This is again the Sigma 17 to 50 millimeter 2.8, newest addition to the team. Welcome. Welcome to the squad. So really excited about this lens. And I think we'll be getting it out for the first time on a photo shoot that we're doing in Brandywine on Wednesday. So super excited about that. All right, so let's see what else we got in the bag. This is pretty important, right? It's probably the most important thing that you need to have in your camera bag nowadays is some hand sanitizer and some PPE, right? Hand sanitizer and PPE. Definitely want to make sure, especially when you're walking into houses, that you're protected, you're safe, and you're not bringing home any extra germs or viruses or anything like that. So definitely want to make sure everyone's protecting themselves, washing their hands, wearing a face mask. That's the only way we're going to get out of this situation is really paying attention to the medical professionals. So that's an important piece of gear right there, is the face mask and the hand sanitizer for sure. So this is another interesting piece of gear. This is my Syrup Genie. Syrup, scissor, right? So this is the Syrup Genie, and when I'm doing my slider shots, this is what I use to power the slider. It actually goes on the slider like this and goes, right? This is the Syrup Genie, and so this is when I'm doing some interior shots of the home and I want to get some really nice, smooth slider shots. This is one piece of equipment that I use, the Syrup Genie. And that actually sits on these rails, right? This is what, so the Syrup Genie would sit right on top of this, and then slide on the slider. Really nice and smooth. And use it for video. That's where I can get some nice, smooth video shots. And again, if you've seen some of my videos on my channel, and if you haven't, you can easily find us online at Aaron Rice Helps on all the different social media networks. But this is what I use for my magic carpet. That's what the slider is called. It's a magic carpet. And I've got a 3-foot long slider and a 5-foot long slider, depending on which type of property I'm filming in. And this goes right on the slider wheels. All right. So it's kind of a package. The Syrup Genie, the glides, and then the rails come separate, or come as a package. You can buy them separately, but I bought them all as a package. All right, so some other things that you're definitely going to need on your shoot are going to be your memory cards, right? Definitely need some memory cards. Maybe I can turn that around so you can see it, right? And because I shoot in 4K, I want to make sure that I've got memory cards. I don't know if you can see the U3. You see the little U3 on there? No. This is a memory card that's designed for shooting 4K. So all the videos that I deliver to my clients are all in 4K, high definition, high resolution, right? So we use ScanDiscs. for our storage for photos, video. And then this is also something that I use as well. Probably can't see it that well. There you go. So this is a level that I use. I put it right on in the hot shoe of my camera, right at the top of my camera. And I want to make sure that all my lines are straight. So if you go back and let's go back and look at some of the photos that I took, you'll notice all the lines are um, perfectly straight, right? That's by using this thing here, right? This level. I can get all my axes perfectly level, right? And be able to take some really, really smooth shots. So that's one. Really want to make sure that my lines are all lining up perfectly and they're not kind of all over the place. So you see this line right here, right? Nice and straight. That's not by mistake. That's all intention. And again, that's why it takes me a little bit longer on my shoots because I do spend a lot of time just kind of getting the shot and get it lined up perfectly, right? So this level has come in handy as well. Always use this on my camera. And then because I'm shooting with a Sony camera, right? Shooting with a Sony A6500, gotta have lots of batteries. Gotta have lots of batteries, right? Because these batteries do not last a long time. Sony's improved their battery strength a lot over the years, but these batteries you probably get maybe an hour. Whoop, an hour and a half, maybe less. But always want to have plenty of batteries. I have like 5 batteries. I make sure they're always charged up, ready to go before I head out to a particular shoot. But these batteries go pretty quickly. The newer cameras, of course, have better battery strength. So looking forward to adding that new camera to my camera bag. And then this also is another Syrup product. This is what's called a turntable. And so with some properties, what I'm able to do actually is I'll put maybe like a flower pot or something on here that can kind of spin as I'm using my slider. I've got a couple of videos where I've used this before, and gives a nice um, piece of motion to a particular shot by using this turntable. So I use that with one of these as well. So this gives my camera a little bit of rotation so I can get some parallax, right? And so I use these two together to be able to get some motion when I'm doing my slider shots, right? So this is the Syrup turntable. All right. Yeah. So and then lastly would be my Joby, right? Mount. This mount is good because I can do all different types of things, mount it different directions, right? So this is the Joby mount. It's like a gorilla mount for the top of a gorilla pod, right? So yeah, that's all the gear that I will be taking with me to my shoot coming up in Brandywine on Wednesday. Right, that's all the gear that I'm going to be taking with me. Um, got a couple of bags I'm going to carry it in, and we'll be in the property. We'll get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're racing against sunset. I think sunset's about 6:30 ish nowadays. So it's a race against sunset, and so my job is to get in and do as much as I can with the photos. I already know the Matterport's going to be 3 hours. The photos will be 3 hours, and then the video will be probably another 2 hours or so. And I'll tell you, by the time I'm done with my shoot, my feet are like, all right, all right. Really got to wear comfortable shoes. I should have put that on there as well. Comfortable shoes, very important. Matter of fact, okay, that's not supposed to be happening. I'm not supposed to be getting a call on this phone. How do I stop that? That's not cool. All right, stop calling me. Let me see if I can hang up. Might have been a customer. Who knows? Sorry about that if you're watching. But yeah. So these are my comfortable shoes, and I'll tell you where you can get some really nice comfortable shoes. I think I got these at Walmart. They're like $9, right? They're not the sexiest looking things, but they are comfortable. These are the new. Uh, I forget who makes these, but yeah, got them at Walmart, folks. $10, not bad. Very comfortable, especially when you're walking around doing photo shoots all day. Um, I've worn my Nikes and some other shoes and been very, very uncomfortable. So get yourself a comfortable pair of shoes if you're going to be doing a photo shoot. But great thing about the photos and the virtual reality tour, those will all be ready next day. And so we're taking the photos on Wednesday, and then we go live in MLS Thursday evening. We'll do the first open house on Saturday from 12 to 4, right? So yeah, so that's it. That's all I want to show you for today. This is my camera bag, right? All right, so we'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Tune in out. Peace.